Are you on your laptop?
Yes.
Okay, do you want to share your screen?
Okay. Just a minute.
Is it talking?
Okay, can you see it?
So,
I said,
your voice.
yes.
Hello, Toby. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
No.
Well, let me stop sharing my. Okay, I can see it now.
Okay.
So, okay, and you've installed Cypress. Have you installed Cypress?
Yes, it does. Abi? No, it's the point of installation that I brought out this error. Sorry.
Okay,
I'll be opening. I'm not even sure again. Sir.
let's install Cypress.
Okay.
Press Ctrl C here.
Control C.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay, so press your hub key. Again, press it again. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Now hit enter. Okay, now do npx Cypress open. You can press your hub key twice. Stay. So now, while it's trying to launch on your editor, you can see node modules there.
Yes.
Click the drop down.
Okay.
Then go down. Let's go down. Yeah, you can see Cypress. You've passed it.
Yeah, Cypress is up here at Cypress.
Oh no, not that one.
Okay, I've seen it.
Then click on libs folder, drop down libs folder, drop down tags. Then you can see
Okay.
verify.js.
Yeah.
Now, do a search.
I should do what?
Or just scroll on the editor itself. I need you to find that verified test runner timeout. So you may need to what, just go to view. Click on view at the top. Search. Type verify underscore.
This one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that 3 to 10. Okay, so save it. Have you saved it?
Okay. Control S works, right?
Yeah, that's okay. Now let's open again. MPX Cypress open. So next time, once you type the command on your terminal, you don't need to be retyping it again. Just use your up and down key to scroll
Okay.
for your previous commands. Well, does anyone have a question to ask? Buchi, Emmanuel, Farouk, Ken, Moses, Sheon, Benin, HP. Does anyone have questions to ask? Guys, again, let's make this more interactive. You've been keeping mute too much.
Hello, Mr. Toby.
Yeah.
During the last session, while we were using that Cypress, you copy some command from a folder. I don't know where. You copy the command into, I think, Cypress JSON or something.
Yeah.
That you said we can also copy it, but I don't know where you copy those commands.
Okay, I think I sent it to WhatsApp. Let me check. Yeah, I shared it on WhatsApp. I'll forward it again.
All right, sir. Okay, and why using Postman? Okay. Hello?
Yeah, we're saying something. I can hear you.
Okay. Why using Postman? From the video that I get, I think you did for how to run API requests, your get and all those ones inside the collection, right?
Yeah.
So is it possible to fire a collection? Like you should run a collection instead of running, you first run all the gets, post and all those requests inside the folder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a collection, right?
Yes, that's it.
So is it possible to run a collection and you get a result? Because from what I saw somewhere, there's a way that guy did it, but I was not getting the same answer as he was getting on his own screen.
Yeah, if time permits us today, we can look at that. There's a way you can run your collection.
Okay, and please, I want you to discuss something on variables.
Okay. You said you want me to discuss something on variable.
Yes.
For Postman.
That's for Postman, yes.
Yeah. So we're already going deeper. Like you want
Really?
You want me to confuse everybody.
Sorry.
This guy he has gone past our level.
So
no, I just joined.
Still showing.
Yeah, so for the variables, you can I can still show you guys that too. So for variables, you can create variables that helps you do different things like setting of environments, saving your tokens on your environment, having a base URL, all those, etc. Yeah, it's we are going to look at it today, Sha. I'll show you how to add test scripts in form of snippets and also how to create your environment variables, your environments to store your variables. Ayolua, can you rerun? I hope this is not an internet. So let's do this. Let's run it again. Just press up here and press enter. So while this one is running, can you open your Postman? That's Ayolua.
Okay.
like this look. The look. Yeah. Yeah. Probably. Let's do hardcore. Mana API cycle. And that'll be it's 10 works. Does it 10 work? Yeah. Have you launched Locusma?
It's taking a while. I don't know. I think my system is hanging.
Yeah,
I think you're having a network issue. I face something like that too, but I have to switch network.
Not
and it's working.
network. Oh. Network is okay now. But the things to still be showing at your side.
who else has completed the tax now on API?
On API, which task was that?
Okay, so I think we should do this way.
Should I stop sharing?
Yeah, you can stop sharing. Let me share from you.
It's 11 hours.
Can you see my screen now? Huh? Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Not yet.
How about now?
Yes.
Okay. Let me show you. I did a demo yesterday on Cypress automation. So let me just show you a few of the test script. Like this one is on adding of prop. So it's a property management site. So this test script adds a property and then also deletes the property after adding it. And the sweet thing about reservoir pass, it logs you in. It gives the properties page. Searches for an existing property. Edits the property. So this one has property. This deletes the property. So this is what automation does for you. It helps. Uh, it helps you. So the thing is, you can't totally eradicate manual testing, but when it comes to your regression tests, that's doing like things like smoke sanity test, or yeah, it's better you automate it. So what automation script does, it checks all those core functionalities of your application, making sure they can work. Like for this property site, hiding of property is a core feature. Yeah, payment is a core feature. Searching for property is a core feature. So you need to be able to check all those things regularly. And imagine you doing all this manually. It takes a lot of time. All these test cases you are seeing here took 69 seconds, sorry, 67 seconds to run. But if you were to do this manually, you can spend, I'm sure some of you here will spend 20 minutes or more, you know. So that's the beauty of automation. But again, like I always say, your foundation is very, very important, which is on manual testing, not automation. When it comes to exploratory testing, you can't use automation for exploratory testing. And exploratory testing is where the critical thinkers that can generate anybody on. So those that can think outside the box, those that can come up with different scenarios, those that can break an application for the purpose of finding bugs, issues, those that can sit in the customer's shoes. All these things I've mentioned, automation can't do for you. So, but it's good to know how to automate your tests. So like this is for testing login. It checks valid, invalid, and log out of the system. So that's an interesting one. Okay, so I'll start with TOS. Okay, let's look at API first before we even go back to day one. Be asking your questions as we are progressing. So who asked the question on automating your, I'll be running all your requests and variables?
The one. I'm the one.
Okay. So you see this runner down here, you can use it to run a collection. So if I click on runner, then let's okay. So I can.
Please, can you enlarge your screen a bit more?
Okay, so on any collection, just click on the option, the drop-down option, then you see run collection. Click on it, it brings you here. So you see all the collections. Iteration is actually how many times you want to run it. Do you want to add a delay, say for every test? So once it runs this user, you can delay it for say 1 second, or you leave it the way it is. Then if there are other things attached to your request, in terms of file, you can upload it. Then you can save your response, keep variable values, run collection without stock cookies, etc. If I run this, so if you run your test, you send an error of code. I think one of the tests is giving issue. So, okay, post now cancel that. Yes, it's page 1. Okay, this single user is the issue. It's an empty request. I'll take it out. So let me. Okay, now so we've run the collection, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the problem here is that you can't really tell the one that passes or fails. So you can see pass 0, fail 0. So this is where we introduce adding of test scripts to your collections. Now, if you click on any requests, you see tests. If you click on tests, you see snippets on your right. So you can add at least 1 snippet is okay. But before I do that, let me just add about 3 or 4. So you can see here that says status code is, this is snippets. If I press enter again, you see this one says response body contains string. Now for this status code, whatever your status code is, so if you're expecting a 200, leave it as 200. Something like create account is 201. So you change this 200 to 201 to 201. So what was this check doing for? If you run your test, is expected to see a 200 here. But if it doesn't, it will say fail. Now this one says response body contains string. Is there where I can zoom this one? So this one says response body contains string. So when I run my tests, I can pick any string from my response body. So this is your response body, and use it to validate that my test was successful. So for example, this email, or let me say this name, George, is a string that we can use to validate. So I'll just change this to George. So if I run this, send this request again, you can see 2 results, 2 out of 2 passed. Let's say the name I was expecting is George 55, and I was expecting a code of 201, say 201. If I send this request, the two results fails. Reason because the status code is 200 and I was expecting 201. I was looking for a string that says a string George 66, but that's not part of, it's not present in the response body. So it's going to fail. So it's always good to have snippets to validate that your tests are actually successful. Because let's say, let me give a scenario, say DB crashed, or let me not use DB, or maybe by mistake, someone cleared data on DB, and you send this request, it's going to return these strings, sorry, it's going to return this data and say it's a pass, but in reality, all these users' data, all these name, first name, they've been deleted from the DB. So this snippet helps you validate your results. It helps you validate your response body to ascertain that it's actually passed. So there are others like response time. Response time is less than. So if I run this test again, if I run this test again, 2 out of 3 passed. The third one failed because my response time was 262. And here I set below 200. So maybe if I increase this to say 400 and I run, everything passed. Yes. But for testing purpose, I always like to use just one string, because by the time I automate this, it's going to have like 3 results on one test. So for automation purpose or running it, I always like to use one string. So let's say I've added to list users. Let me see. The next one, creates. So creates is I click on test. Then I have a snippet that says response body contains string miracle. I change this to miracle. I save and I send. My result passed. Single user. I click on test. I had the same string. Let me use Emma as my string. Paste. I save. I send. It's a pass. Delete user. Okay, so this one is going to return a tool for no content. So I'll go to my tests. I'll use response code this time. Status code rather. Status code should be 204. I save, I send. Okay. This is 242. I save. Now, if I go back to my collection, that's this. Click the drop down option and I click run collection. If I run this collection now, you can see my results that says the numbers that passed and numbers that failed. So the way it checks for pass or failure is by adding test script or snippets to your collection. Get that? So that's on adding test scripts. Now on creating variables, let me show you an example of a request. So now you can look at this collection. with different folders, and each folder has at least one or two requests. So for this project, let's assume you have, let's assume all the requests are more than 50 or say 100. Now, what you've learned before now is more of it's not, let me say, it's not a smart way to work, because let me give a scenario that will explain this better. So, for example, this is your base URL, and you have 50 or say 100 requests in your Postman collection. Now, if this base URL changes tomorrow, let's say they change the URL to request 66, what that means is that you are going to change all your base URL in your collection one after the other until you get to 100. And that can be very stressful. So there's what we call environment, where you can store reusable data or data that can change. So if you look at your left, this is the environment. So you can create new environments by clicking create new, and then you name it the same. Always use the same name as the project so you don't forget. Request 22. Now, the first variable I want to add is my base URL. I call this base URL. Now, what's my base URL? Let me go back to my project. So this is my base URL. And again, most times your documentation, you have your base URL on it. So it's clearly stated there. So I go to my environment. So if I click on environment, request 22, I thought I created this. Yeah, so inside the value, I'll have the base URL. Yep. Then always remember to save. So what I'll do now is I go to my excuse me. So I go to my request and change this to the variable I've created, which is base URL. Then lastly, always make sure you select the environment here. If you select the wrong environment and you try run, it will return error because it's trying to fetch for this base URL inside invoice environment, which is not available. So you must select the correct environment, then run your tests. So I'll replicate this across my scripts. So I'll do the same here. I save. I'll do the same here. Save. I'll do the same here. I save. So if tomorrow comes and this base URL change, or I'm being asked to test it on another environment, all I just need to do is go to my environment, click on the environment I want to update, then I just change this URL to the updated one. So if I'm running it on staging, I'll have the staging URL here. If I'm running it on production, I'll have the production here. So these are saves us the stress of changing over 100 requests. So that's one. Another thing, I made mention of, you can store reusable data here. So I can show you other examples of reusable data. So another one is your access token. Okay, so looking for, yeah, so another thing is token. So there are some tests that requires you to generate, in fact, most of your, not even most, every test you run, every of your collection, your API tests, generates a token for you that you use to across other requests. Let me explain what I'm saying. So if we look at this project, for example, when I log in, it generates a token for me. Now, this token will be required to perform other tests. For example, update password, it will require that token. Now, I have applied the same method of saving my token in the, what's it called, the environment. Instead of me coming here, copy my token and come here and paste it inside, which will actually work. But the truth about token is that it expires. So do you want to be copying and pasting all the time, copying and pasting all the time? It's going to be very stressful. So it's more of you working smart. Inside my test, I've included a script. So what this script does is that every time I log in, it's going to set, it's going to create a variable called useFormAdmin token and store the token inside my environment. So let me show you. If you come here, where is this one? Okay, I think this is it. Yeah. Okay, so I selected request 22. So what it does, and again, take notes, whichever environment you select, that's where it's going to store your token. So you can see now it's created a variable name called useFormAdmin token and store the token that I generated on logging in there for me. So all I just need to do is pass this guy inside all other requests that will be required to run with token. So yes, so for example, this update password, it requires a token to work. So all I just need to do is pass this guy here. So for every time I log in, it generates a token and stores it inside my environment variable. And chicken, I'm fine. So do you guys understand or do you have questions?
I'm lost. I'm not really sure I understand what you're doing.
So that's the thing. You guys will make me talk. I've said it. If you are lost, stop me, ask questions. You know, I don't expect me to repeat everything again. Well, the video is here. We watch it. So where are you lost?
Let me just rewatch the video. I used to grab it after that.
Then let me advise you guys again. You know, initially there was no videos. We're not recording videos, but we decided to do that for the sake of those not that won't be present. Now, this is a practical session, and I'm here. You are here. I think it's best we get it right here, and the video is just to support us or if we miss anything, you know. It's also fine to go back and watch it, which is okay, but I'd rather say let's get it right here. So as we progress, please ask your questions and you can try it on your hand too, not just me alone. That's why I said that it's more of practical sessions today. So yeah, so I've showed you two things, adding of test script and snippets to your requests and also creating environments for your projects. Cool. So was your Cypress launcher still the same?
I had to restart my computer. I've not launched it back.
Okay. All right. So when we started this training, I know we started with starting a career in software testing. So I just want to remind us of some key things. Hello? Okay. Almost. Please a minute, I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay, okay, let's continue. Oh, record. Okay, let's continue. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this was on
I
starting.
don't know. Are others still here?
Huh?
The other guys, are they still
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
We are still here. Yeah, we are here. We are still here.
Yeah, don't worry. It's just me going through from day one. Not like I'm spending the whole day. So we started with starting a career, and I'm just going to pick a few slides here. We talked about the non-technical skills, and there's a webinar I'm going to send to you guys. I would like you to watch. It talks on soft skills. Soft skills. So, in fact, with the way the direction tech industry is going today, companies are, in as much as they are after your technical skills, they are also concerned about your soft skills, and some of which are your non-technical skills. They want to know if you fit into their culture. I told some of us that when I'm interviewing people these days, I'm more interested in your soft skills. I prioritize your soft skills ahead of your technical skill. Yeah, anybody can be good, anybody can pick up a tool and learn. But what frustrates a team, a company, is when you lack some of these soft skills. Imagine a good tester that doesn't communicate. Imagine a good tester that doesn't attend meetings on time. These things are soft skills that can hinder your progress. But that being said, so on not
I do the good. Why did you create this?
is you may need to mute your mic. Okay, so yeah, so we talked about communication. For example, since we started this training, only a few of us communicate, and communication is actually a two-way thing. I say my own, you say your own. Communication also cut across not just verbal, also written. Even how you report issues talks on communication too. And very important, timely communication. Timely communication helps a lot in an agile environment, because when we say agile, part of the components of agile is speed. Yeah. So timely communication, quick delivery, I can't find a bug 8 a.m. and I'm reporting it by 12 noon. That doesn't make sense. Then how you communicate to written also is important. Great attitude to work. This has to do with your mindset, your mentality, your approach, and also applying your QA, quality assurance processes to work. As you guys begin to work in different organizations, you'll be learning a lot around processes and tools and approaches you should follow when working. So for great attitude, example is your test to break attitude. You are not only testing to check that people can log in. You also need to come up with a lot of negative scenarios. What happens when I try this? What happens when I do this? Then your logical skills helps you to break complex application into smaller bits and test them in units. So if you've been asked to test a 4-bedroom duplex, it's not wise to just start testing the building as a whole. It makes sense if you start from, say, the compound, you move to maybe the passage, then to the living room, applying that kind of skills, you've been able to, break it into smaller units, and at the end, you test it as a system, as a whole. Time management. This is another skill that you'll be improving on gradually. How long you spend on testing. Sometimes you need to know the types of testing to apply. For example, your company is pushing that you need to go live, and that's when you are saying you want to do you want to start doing exploratory testing, or you want to start doing testing you ought to have done at the beginning of the project, there's a quick fix. You can apply a smoke test to that. Just check the core features of the application rather than doing a top-down regression test. Then you find a bug, you log it immediately, you report it immediately. And finally, Passion. On Passion, I think only a few of us, I don't want to mention names, but I can really say, I can tell that this set of individuals are passionate about getting something out of this training. Your attitude to work, your attitude to this training can also tell how passionate you are. And I told us there's nothing like silence. I'm a silent FUA. I don't work with crowd. I like doing my thing myself. It's fine. But trust me, if they ask you in an interview that are you a team player and you said no, I love to do things on my own, you've lost that job. We work as a team. There's nothing like individuality. Even when I give tasks, there's nothing wrong if you copy from your colleague. You are using it to learn, to get better. Passion is very, very key. You need to just have it for you to go further. Productivity. So many of us are not productive in this, even in this training. I mentioned this is not about joining the sessions that equals productivity. It's what you take out of it that actually tells how productive you've been on the sessions. And I didn't want to say this before, but it's the truth. Since we've been doing this training, I think this set is a special set because I need to keep going back and going back and going back. People keep saying they are lost, but I just have to try to do my best and give it more, But again, you need to get something out of this, and that falls on you. What you do after the training sessions, don't stop learning. All those things you've done in terms of playing with Trello, reporting bug, keep doing them, keep doing them. Then that's. So we talked on technical skills, manual automation, defects, backend. So for this training, we are looking at the manual, the automation, the defect management, and also the API testing. With these four, in fact, this is more than for an entry-level QA role. So having these four alone, it's more than what is required for an entry-level QA testing role, But again, it's a good to have. It gives you upper advantage amongst your peers, So ideally, for an entry level, the basics is just manual testing and like 30% of manual testing, And you having to know automation with Cypress, being able to use different management tools like Jira, Trello, and finally being able to use Postman is a plus for you. So when I say people do this training and get jobs in 1 month, it's the truth, because we're able to learn fast and groom themselves in all these things I've mentioned, and they went out there because no company wants. So for an entry level role, they are not expecting you to be perfect. In fact, nobody is perfect in it. They are not expecting you to be 100%. They just want to know what you've been able to do in terms of all this and what level you are, because no company is ready to train from scratch. I think it stopped during my own time because I was lucky to I started my career by learning on the job. I don't have any testing knowledge or background. And it was a very tough had an interesting one for me. My first day of resumption, I was asked to test. I was asked to report a bug, and I was asked to report it on Jira. All these things I've mentioned, I've never interacted with them before, but I had to learn from my colleagues. Okay, oh, what am I supposed to do? How do I report? So my own way was learning on the job. Although we keep learning on the job, Sha. So all this, in case you don't have this slide, I can still reshare it. So after starting a career in software testing, I think so for how to enter the field of software testing and make a decision, I know some of us have not decided. Some of us are not, from the feedback I got, I was like, some of us have not decided, and it seems some are not even sure if this is the right thing for them. The truth is, not everybody can test. Not everybody will test. It's until you start you can actually tell if this is for me or let me go to something else. It's okay. We have tried so many things and later found that this is not our calling. For example, after I finished secondary school, 3 of us, my friend, we started writing lyrics, rap lyrics, and we want to be a musician and blow quickly. But after I did that for like 4 months, I said to myself, this is not your calling. Go find something else. But they continued. One of them, what was his stage name again? I've forgotten. Something Rizzo. So he's trying. At least one of his songs, he featured Reminisce, although his songs are not yet top notch or out there. The other one, I don't know. I'm going to tell him that guy find something else, but he just refused to want to.
Guy, this is not your calling.
And he kept at it. We went to the same university, still on. Well, don't let me be the. Maybe that's his call, Bosha. Time will tell. So, yeah. So, how to enter the field of software testing? I'll make a decision. Get trained. Where you can do certifications too. A lot of people always ask me about certification. I think I did my first QA certification last year. That's 6 years later.
Wow.
So I'm not writing off certification. It's a good to have, but certification won't get you the job. It won't. It's your skills before certification. So most of us, let me even say 100%, 90% of us, we got the job based on our skill set, not certification. Even my BSc, my MSc, I've never tendered it anywhere before. All these certifications I've done. So I'm saying in the tech industry, they are after your skills, But the certification is also good. It helps you know your level of understanding and how conversant you are in that field. It's good to have it, but don't prioritize certification over your skill sets. No, let your skill sets come over certification. So get a mentor. Your mentor is not necessarily have to be someone in testing, but someone in the tech field and stands in the leadership role that can guide you, advise you. I still have mentors too that I go to, I talk to, and it has helped me greatly. Engage in community meetups. Yeah, so this is for those of us, again, that we don't like to show off. We don't like to put ourselves out there. I like to be siloed. Let me just, keep, it's okay. But Don't see it as show, just see it as you pushing yourself out there, expanding your profile, making yourself visible, so that when opportunity comes, you are aware, and it's the same people that can reach out to you, you know. So there are a lot of groups out there, LinkedIn, search QA related, stuffs online, and is what you can join. So after today, for those of us that have not done a CV, I'm going to send a template to us. You need to get your CVs ready, and let's start pushing it out there, and start looking for those jobs.
Thank you for that.
Float your CVs. Yes, so just like that. Float out there, and again, don't be shy of pushing yourself out there. Like I said, we don't expect you to be 100% now. It's an entry level role for you, but with what you have now, you should be confident enough to, and again, don't get discouraged. You can go for your first interview and doesn't come out well. For some, their first breakthrough. But one thing I've learned in interview is every interviews I've done is also an avenue for me to learn. Also an avenue for me to pick one or two things. It's also an avenue for me to build my confidence, Today when I interview, I've never seen there's no interview I'll do today that we don't crack jokes, we don't laugh, because I see it as, and I started this long ago, I see it as we just having a conversation to know if I'll fit to work for you or not. I'm not here to beg for your job. It's not pride. It's just we just having a conversation, and in between, let's crack some jokes. Let's, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not saying you go do comedy during your, but there are some questions that you may be asked. You can just remember a scenario and just make it interactive. And I think that was how I was able to build my confidence, because after 2 years of getting my first job in Congo, I went for an interview and I realized I was shaking. And after the interview, I was, is it not the same me that I'm like the best guy in the organization? My colleagues must not hear of this. So I started, so before interviews, I talk to myself, like, Toby, relax, you guys are just having a conversation. Your age mates, person like you, they just see them as if you are talking to your friends, If you ask 2 questions you don't understand or you don't know, just, sorry, I don't know this question, but like if you can explain to me. So that was how I started and started building my confidence. There are some of us here already. We are so confident. This shouldn't be a problem for us. So float your CVs. Reach out to people. Don't rely on us alone. Let your friends know this is what you do. Friends of friends too. Use LinkedIn a lot. You can see, in fact, check companies, go to their career page, send your CV to their company's email, that you like to intern. Then, freelance. So sometimes, not sometimes, this is something different. What I want to say now is don't let money be your motivating factor. Money is important. You get the money. But first of all, be passionate and about the skills, the hands-on experience in an office environment. So I always tell people after the training, even though if it's an internship road, whether paid or not, jump at it, because a lot of people have gotten jobs through this means. They came in, let me just intern for you guys for 3-6 months for free, but you need to set a goal. My goal is not to just sit down here for 6 months. I want to get something within 3 months. And if you are able to learn fast and you tell them you are leaving or you've gotten a job, they may even value you more and want to keep you. You have questions like, what are these new guys paying you? What if we double and we have to eat? Will you like to work? So a lot of people have used that approach in getting something. So don't let money be your motivating factor. Focus more on your skills. Like I always tell them, when the better you are, the more money you get. Your skills is your voice. Your skills speaks for you. Your skills negotiate for you. Your skill is your confidence. Your skill is your promotion. So we are more on growing ourselves. So when I say we, my team, my colleagues, my friends, by the special grace of God today, for let me say for like 3-4 years now, job has been chasing me. I don't chase job again. So I sit in my house and job comes to me. This didn't happen because 7 years plus in the industry. No, it happened because I chose to keep growing myself. I chose to keep learning. I chose to keep building myself, which I still do up to today, So, well, that's for another day. I'm sure you get the message. So you enroll for internship, either free or paid, and that's it. So let's jump on. Yeah, for those of you that have not followed us, please do so. Because we always throw some interesting stuff once in a while. Thank you. Okay, so after starting a career in software testing, we jumped to software development lifecycle and software testing lifecycle. Where do I have that?
Just a quick one.
Okay.
Okay, is it just Cypress you'll be training us with, or you still talk about the Selenium? I don't know, I think that one I still see it a lot.
Yeah, it's only Cypress.
It's only Cypress. Okay, so most software testers make use of Cypress, or either Cypress or the other ones.
Yeah, that's so most it's the three. So right now, I think from the data I've seen, I think Cypress is taking the lead. Most companies are beginning to use Cypress. As at last year, I'm a Selenium man, but this year I'm more Cypress. And most places.
So like, what's the major difference?
So
maybe I should just research on that.
Yeah, so let me go deep, but Cypress is easy to learn. It's easy to pick up. It's a tool that you can use to easily generate your scripts, has less configuration. Unlike Selenium, Selenium does everything Cypress do. In fact, does more than what Cypress do currently. But when it comes to setting it up, debugging, configuring, building frameworks, etc., it requires a lot of programming knowledge and.
Okay.
Yeah, and Selenium is actually a bit taxing compared to Cypress.
Okay. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Toby.
Yeah, good morning.
I can see that there are some people that have already passed us, finished. We are still at the back, still trying to catch up. But all in all, we will catch up. It might not be now, but we'll catch up. Yes. What I just want to say is this: the internship. For some of us, we are already working. So getting an internship, it might require you quitting your job or stuff like that. So I was just saying, is it possible we intern with you guys? Okay, let me speak for myself now. Is it possible I intern with you guys? Then, as in coming in maybe once a week or twice a week, see how it goes, process things and stuff like that. So that's just my question.
Yeah, it's possible, and that's the plan after this training for those that are interested. You can intern further after the training.
Okay, thank you very much. Because I would love to intern this training. I know training is there, but internship does give you more hands-on on the job, so it breeds your confidence and the rest. So thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for asking.
Since nobody wants to talk, let me continue. Mr. Toby, I've been trying to get my hands on a laptop, but it seems like I'm cash constrained, but still yet I'm still looking at that and seeing what I can do. Okay, I've been following the class ever since, and I've been able to know how to write test case and draw up a test case scenario.
Okay.
But ever since we started the API and the Cypress, I've been totally lost. But thank God now that we are now using Zoom, at least with the recordings, I can be able to go back and watch the video and then see what I can do.
Yeah.
So, but all in all, at least this Zoom is much more better with the recording. So all in all, thank you very much. I will see what I can do to improve my skill, because for so long I've been using just my office system, and it's not easy comparing office work and trying to learn at the same time. So that's why I am lacking. So let me just put my own out. That's why I'm far back, but I'll try and catch up. And with the internship as well, I'll try and catch up.
Yeah, thanks for that. Makes sense. And for
Hello, Mr. Toby.
yeah,
Yeah, well, you see from the appraiser's call that I actually graded myself, because when it comes to hands-on, I'm kind of or the theoretical part, I'm kind of a slow learner, but when it comes on hands-on, I think I pick up faster. So what I've done, in order not to drag the team backward and drag the lectures and have you repeat some of the classes, so what I did was I tried to download, so I went for some YouTube tutorials based on what we have been taught so far. So I tried to go back on some YouTube tutorials. So I'm doing them face by face. I think I have one about 10 hours or so. So I'm, coupled with the work and time as well. So I take out 1 hour every day to just use that as more like a refresher course on all that you have done so far. So I use it to validate with what you have. So that's why I'm not asking questions, because I haven't gone into that part yet. All you've been doing, I've just been looking at it. Most of the interviews they are strange to me. I'm seeing them for the first time. So I'm just paying attention and trying to familiarize myself with the look of it and how you've been doing it, so that when I get to that part on that tutorial I downloaded, it relates easily for me. So that's why you've not seen me asking. To say I was lost when you get to that Cypress. I was completely lost. I only got it from the installation part and the first command you run on it. Every other thing, it's like I'm looking at the mirror. So, but I know with that tutorial, gradually I'll pick up and.
Okay, nice. Like that. Then for those of us working and at the same time trying to, switch, I know it can be very difficult and taxing. Having that, you need to work and at the same time, you need to train, you need to do self, it's not easy. I know that, but that's what is going to demand from you. It's going to demand a lot from you. And just try and endure this period and give it all you can. I don't usually advise people to resign. Although I've seen quite a lot of people that actually resigned. There are people that while working, they were able to squeeze in a lot of time and got something. There are some that they will say, "Ah, I'm not sure I can combine both. I just have to resign." And so, like I said, I'm not advising that you resign, but just give it all you can, and we are here to always guide you and put you through. Yeah. So if it requires extra hours, after your 9 to 5, you may still need to do another 3 to 4 hours. Well, just give it that time for now. Okay, so I was going to jump on SDLC and STLC to explain this. So SDLC stands for Software Development Lifecycle. So it's a cycle that iterates and it has phases. So the software development life cycles are the phases or different stages in developing a software. And these stages involves stakeholders, the product team. When I say the product team, software testers, developers, designers, project managers, product owner, business analysts, customer support, DevOps, solution architects. These are all products, the product team. So looking at the stages required in so what are we trying to say in SDLC? As a QA person, I need to understand the stages and phases of developing a software, from the planning stage to the analysis stage, to the design stage, to the implementation stage, to the testing, and finally maintenance. So you need to understand, I'm not really going to talk much on this because it's on the slide, you can read it up, but you need to understand the phases of development. Same thing applies to testing. Same thing applies to testing. What are the stages from requirements, to test planning, to test case? Like these are simple questions they can ask you to in interview. What are the stages of software testing lifecycle and software development lifecycle? Then we moved on to okay, we talked about test plan documents. I remember telling you, actually, this is a responsibility of a project, sorry, QA lead or manager to create a test plan. It's very wrong to ask an entry-level person to create a test plan, but it's good that you know or understand what a test plan document is or how it looks like. I'm going to share this too with us. This is a sample document. It can come in different contents, but this is mine. And okay. Yeah, so then we looked at test cases. test case creation, updating, and execution. So which test case did we even use? So I'll show you like a sample test case of a product. I think we did for Konga too. Let me check. Okay. So, so what the test case document does is it helps you create test cases for all the features of the applications. So your test case must have both positive and negative scenarios. And for each test title, which can also be a test feature, say login, you should also have a scenario and steps to executing each scenarios. Then when I execute these steps or I test this scenario, what is expected to happen? That's the expected results. And finally, your actual results. So this is another example. First thing is launch URL. Verify users can launch the website. Steps, open your browser, enter URL. Test data, just are data you might need to carry out your test, like URL, phone numbers, email, password, etc. So expected results, users should be directed to the landing page. And what is the actual result? As expected. And the status is passed. So whenever your status passes, it should be as expected. But whenever it fails, the status changes to what you experienced. Looking for a field test, none is here. So what I'm trying to explain, so whenever your test fails, the status is failed, the actual result should be what you experienced or what happened while it failed. So the approach I'll usually use in writing my test cases, I take it feature by feature or page by page. So for example, I start from launching to the storefronts to log in, to sign up, then to, you'll be picking all those features when I start the order. I'll be creating scenarios for them. So another thing I'm going to do is share a test case template with you guys, like a full project that you can also walk through. Which one can I think of?
The last assignment we didn't hear any feedback from you though.
Which one of the, okay, wait though, which one is the API?
The one for Konga.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, test document, a test document, and all that. A test case on Konga.
That's correct. I'll still get back to you guys on that. Okay, so I'll check that. Please remind me in case I forget. So I'm holding you a test plan, a test case. So we also looked at user stories writing. and how to write user stories. One of us mentioned that you always go online, you watch YouTube's, which I really like. All these things we are mentioning, they're also online. How to write user stories on Jira, just Google it. Yeah, let me even say this. Go ask anywhere. The best tech guys out there are those that know how to use Google very well, those that can research. All those issues you guys are posting on WhatsApp, I don't have it in my head. Once I see the issue, I go to Google and check. By the time I see a solution, I post it for it. You can do the same, So we need to learn how to research on our own, check all these things on Google. They are all there, So like how to write user stories, you see articles that even explain it better than I'm saying, Same thing applies to bug reporting, project management too, agile methodology, etc. So but what you'll be doing more is bug reporting as QAs. Let me open that Trello. Okay. So these are so even on this Trello, you see existing stories, user stories, and bug reporting by some of us. Go through them, we use it to learn more. We are still having issues with creating stories or bug reporting. All right, so this is a sample project management board on Trello. I told us that it's the same flow on different applications like Jira. The interface might be different. The same way we have columns here, we have columns on Jira too. And each column speaks different phases during development of an application. So there's the to-do stage. This is where we list all the tasks or ticket of what needs to be built, Then in progress is when a developer comes or a developer picks up a task and move it to progress. So it's a rule that before a developer starts working on any given task, he or she must move it to in progress so that someone else won't come and pick the same task. So by the time I move this to in progress, it's going to show that I'm the one working on it, and I will assign it to myself. Let me show us Jira too. So this is Jira. Yep. So you can see to do in progress, ready for testing. Needs rework means it fails, pass, done. So once a developer moves a task to in progress, he or she assigns that task to himself. So this is the person working on it, the assignee. The reporter is the person that created the task or the issue. Gets so that explains that. So once developers are done coding, they move their tasks to in review. So this review is where developers come together to review your code. And Again, you see from to do to review, in most cases, has nothing to do with QA. These are developers working in working on a ticket. So once they've reviewed and approved, it comes to QA. So whether it's a bug or a bug fix or is a new feature that was added, they all pass through QA. So if it's a bug, you need to retest the bug tickets on your staging environment. So remember, done is that it has gotten to production. At this point, it has not gotten to production. So there's always a staging environment where QA tests before a feature or a bug fix gets to production. So once it gets to QA, you test. And once you test and this issue is no more happening, you move it to pass. But if a ticket comes to QA and you test and it's still failing, you move it to failed. So once all tickets that pass through QA or they pass column and they get deployed to production, then they go to done. So they get to done. So same thing on Jira. Once it gets ready for testing, we test. If it passes, it goes to pass. Then they deploy to production. Done means we are done with this task and it's been pushed to production. So that being said, okay, so let's take a look at Cypress again.
By the way, Toby, I still have that error on Cypress. I don't know what I should do.
Okay, Felix, you experienced that when you do NPX Cypress.
Timeout. What is it?
Timeout. Did you experience it?
Yeah. Yes.
Let me show you something. Sorry, I'm talking to a colleague here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Did you do something like this? If that is okay, you have it. Can you read what the error is saying again? Ayolua. Ayolua, are you there?
Yes, sorry. I didn't know I've not unmuted myself. Okay, let me read it out.
Okay.
Please hold on. Yeah, so it says Cypress verification timed out. Then
Cypress.
it gave us error about another. Oh.
When I have issues, the first place I check is usually Stack Overflow before all that.
Okay. So command timed out after 10,000 milliseconds.
So this is,
then
as you can see, it's related to what you're expressing. Abi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So right here on Stack Overflow, we have 8 answers.
Okay.
So this one says I had similar issues and I use npx verify to carry out the verification. This was the one I sent to you. This one says we tried launching Cypress one more time, worked error being done. So let's try, you can start with npx verify. I'll send it on WhatsApp. Or just do npx Cypress verify.
Yeah.
Right, so the first thing we did was npm init. So when we launch our VS Code, so VS Code is the editor we are using for our automation. So file, let me do new window. So what I did was, so I launched my VS Code, then I clicked on open folder. So inside on my desktop, I created a folder called So I created a folder for my project, say Jumia, or say Konga test. Then I opened it on my VS Code. Then the next thing I did was to open my terminal. On Windows, it's your command prompts, and I did npm init. Then the package name Konga sanity, Konga regression for you to. Then I keep pressing enter. Description is end to end.
Sorry, Mr. Toby.
Yeah.
Mine is not bringing this description at all. It's just going straight to author.
Yes, maybe you've pressed enter plenty times, but don't worry, you see it on your phone.
Okay.
Author is usually your name. So enter. So by the time you click enter, you see this package of JSON file. If you open it, you can come here and change it or add it if it's not there. You can change or update it to anything. So after we did this, the next thing we did was to install Cypress using npm install Cypress save dev. So I'm only showing us the configuration parts, for the full videos, we can refer to the previous session. Okay, so Cypress is installed. Yeah, the next thing is do npx Cypress open or verify. Let me do verify. Okay, so it says verified Cypress. Cool. So to ideally, your Cypress is meant to show here. Is either you close this, relaunch it, or you do npx Cypress open. Once you launch that, Cypress folder will appear here. So while it's launching, if I go back to my editor, now you can see the Cypress folder. And you can see the JSON and the package file. So the first thing I did was to update this JSON file, and all I did was I just copied all the commands because I have it stored somewhere, and you can do the same too. You don't need to type all over again. So this is it. Don't forget to clear out this one before pasting. So this is what I added to my. Yep. So your base URL is the URL of the site you are testing. Might ignore this. You don't really need this for now. Now, default timeout is the time it takes for an element to timeout, while page load is for a page load to timeout. So what timeout does is if it loads for 30 seconds and it doesn't see what it's supposed to do, your test will fail. So I did this. Then on my package.json file, I added some few lines too. Yep, so I copied these dependencies. Okay, it's already there. So let's leave it like the way it is for now. Don't add anything to it. So that's been sorted, and one next. So if I drop down Cypress folder, integration folder, remember as inside the integration folder, you start adding your test script too. And I explained the test script to us. Some example. So for example, looking at this login test. So line 1 is to import your selector. Remember I told us that we separate our selectors. We had our selectors in a separate file, which is this, and it's inside a fixture folder. So all your selectors that your scripts will interact with are all stored here. I remember I showed us how to inspect element on the Cypress runner, where you copy and paste it here. So the first thing you do is to import your selector so that your code can fetch all those selectors in this file. Then the next thing we did was to add describe, eats, and describe and eats. So what I can do is okay, let me just copy everything. But mind you, copy and paste may not totally work because you may need to change some things on your end. For example, the file name must be the same with what you have on your own head. That's one. Then you can change the describe to what you're doing. Say, I want to test the login page. That's the description of your tests. Then before each, what before each does is any script or command you put inside before each, what you are telling your script is that before each test, this is one test, execute this command, that's cy.v6. Once it has done running this one and jumps to the next, it's going to execute this test again. So you said there that before each test, always launch the URL. If you use ordinary before, this one will only execute once and continue running your tests. That's the difference. But I always like using before each, so that on every test, it's going to reload the browser and launch the URL again. then I continue my tests. While the eats are your test cases. And on how to inspect element, you can check the Cypress video. It's on YouTube. Yeah, so this basically, it's very easy to pick up Cypress and start automating. But have it back of your mind that you encounter issues, you see errors. The more issues you see, the better you become. In fact, while I was doing this project, I saw different issues, and it helped me understand better ways of, writing my test scripts. So there are times that there are some browsers that can be very stubborn based on the way it's being built and code and implemented. Some things won't just work as it's supposed to, For example, because I needed to click on something, I had to do, should be visible, should have this text. I had to trigger my mouse over on that element. I had to force it before clicking and forcing it again, So some websites can be very stubborn and they'll give you a headache. But I'm just preparing you that you definitely encounter things like this. And for me to resolve this is just more of me using Google, pasting the issues, checking different article resources, see what this one did, how I resolved this, implemented or no, until it worked. So that being said, so we've reviewed almost everything, and then so any question from anyone? I can start my own day. Okay, thanks. So guys, I hold you test plan, test case, CV templates. What else do I hold you? So once you've created your CV with the template, please add it here. And let it be added. Use your Google Doc to create your CV. Let it sit on your drive. Just share your CV by enabling, you change the restriction to anyone with this link and view, copy the link and paste it here for us. Then, yep. Then I think that's basically. Then your LinkedIn profile too. Let's start reflecting your software testing role. So again, it's an entry level for you. So you can see the way IU has done has. Yep. So you can see your experience. You put the company, the internship, and you can now start pushing you out there. Okay, guys, it seems there are no further questions. And I hope we are all preparing for December. Please, I like enjoyment too. If anything,
Please, what is happening in December? Let us know.
please invite me. Oh. Let's go.
I have cloth and shoe. Any venue.
This one, nobody is talking. Is it that we don't have plans for December?
No plans yet.
This Buhari regime,
Oga Toby host us. So
Right now, we suppose don't make plans. The year knockout, they see different events on TVs. You know, people are ready to go have fun. So, now we're all looking at our safety first and how to make more money. This stuff is rare.
Exactly.
I'll get money they plan.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
So there's someone that has money that will plan. Man. If you don't have money, you see that in your house. I'll joke with you maybe.
Hello.
Hello?
Michelle, if you want to see my
Wait, are you on this? I can't see you.
Michelle, if you want to see all right, guys, let's enjoy the rest of our day. See you on WhatsApp.
okay,
All
sir.
right,
Thank you very
thank
much.
Thank you.